And welcome back aboard Blur Force One with your boy Mo and your girl Polly. And this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. It's movies, TV shows, video games, comic books. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast today, you know what to do. Get down there and hit like on this video. So superhero summer is rolling right along. We're almost at the end of July. Brand new day is 2 weeks from now? No, it's a week and a half from now. And not only that, Polly, Cape Crusader, right? We're in the middle of
Yeah.
X-Men 97. We're in the middle of My Adventures with Superman. Lanterns is right around the corner. This is who said that there can be too much of a good thing. I don't know who these people are. They're Anyway, Polly, that of course, everyone, we have to say hello to our resident Reed Richards truther, our comics expert, and all around cool blurry. That of course is Polly, aka Co-Mixed. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It is summer, it is superhero summer, it is fun, there is a lot going on. I mean, at some point I might be the person who's to say that there can be too much of a good thing because like look how we try to fit everything into this like really ridiculously narrow schedule because like we have to work, we have to do other things, but these things like these important things to us are happening and we have to make time for them and we have to, I mean, it's
Mhm.
not enough for me to just watch a new episode. I really need to discuss it from every possible angle and look at the like all the stuff we're getting this week. And that's before the San Diego Comic Con. So
Yeah,
we're in for much more. And we already have like a ton of news to talk about.
yeah,
So
that's true. I mean,
yeah.
it would be nice if like Comic Con actually focusing on superhero would be cool for a change, but
Yeah.
they got tons of other stuff they're announcing too. They're like there's so much nerd stuff going on. Like I'm not even watching it, but Star Trek: Strange New World season 4 is, I believe, this week. So I mean, there's a
Oh,
lot.
see? And I haven't even caught up on the previous
I,
Star Treks, and I planned on watching all of
mhm.
them. That is ridiculous. And well, I did do some nerdy stuff by the way this week though. I went to a comic book store. I didn't buy anything. I
I,
think that shows like the inner
what?
strength that I possess. So that's definitely going on my resume. Played some Marvel Rivals, complained a lot about the game. Well, I'm not gonna stop complaining until they do what I say. Uh, Read comics, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later. I think I have the book that I read. I mean, I read on Marvel Unlimited, but I do think that I have the book I read.
Mhm.
So we might have to like pause and I might have to get it. But uh, other than that, I continued watching Xena. I just posted about it like a couple hours ago. It's still a very gay show. I don't know what like
It's
people were
super
trying to
gay.
convince themselves. Yeah, it's uh, could it be gay? I don't think it could. Uh,
I actually love Gabrielle and Xena. I love them. I think I told you this.
they friendship.
I love them more than Hercules and Aeolus on Hercules. The when Sorbo wasn't a total piece of shit.
I mean,
That
he always probably was a
he
total piece of shit. We just didn't know about it.
Yeah. Oh, he wasn't a vocal piece of shit, but like that was a clear, like both of those shows were clearly about uh gay couples who were they're going around and they're friends.
Yeah, they did show up in like a couple episodes, and the first time they showed up, and I never watched Hercules. I maybe saw like one episode or two. Never wanted
Right.
to, like, never cared to. Very weird dude. Uh, wasn't interested in that show at all. But like he showed up in Xena, and this time around, like he's like he brought a friend. I'm like, I see what's going on here. No need to explain anything. I don't want to hear it. They can pretend all they want. We all know what's up. Uh, and other than that, I watched some anime. I watched what was it? A Whisper of the Heart,
Oh, okay.
Porco Rosso, and another one, Castle in the Sky.
Oh, I love Castle in the Sky so much. That if that one's really that was really good. Porco
Yeah.
Rosso, I like that a lot. It's very funny. I don't think I've
It
have.
was not funny. It was like deep.
Well, yeah, but it's still it casts it within because it the entire character is a running gag essentially, right?
I mean, it's like he has deep trauma and he like he hates himself.
I feel like I need to
That's
rewatch this because I'm
I feel
remembering
like
this
you need to.
differently.
I was just complaining
I'm
about like
remembering this
how
differently.
a lot of people are talking about like this show is funny, and yeah, it has funny elements and funny stories, but it's essentially about the person who lost the respect for himself,
Mm.
and then he suffers from it, and because of that, he can't see that others still see him as the same person he used to be, and he can't
Oh,
see that because he hates himself. That is like so obvious.
I think you know
Uh,
what? I think you can. I am gonna go rewatch that because like
Definitely.
I'm misremembering a lot about it.
Like a lot of
It-
people, I
yeah.
guess. But anyway, what else? Oh my God. And of course, like everything that we're gonna talk about
Hmm.
today, a lot of that
Yeah.
was so fun. It was one of these, fun weeks when you have a lot of things going on and you can just full on be a nerd and everyone understands that, like why you like that.
I
It
get
was
it.
fun.
I mean, you know me. I don't consume nearly as much stuff. I'm awful busy, uh, outside of doing this stuff. But you know, I did see some things. Uh, I did. Me and my daughter finished watching season one of Bel Air. I will continue to cheerlead for that show because that first season is amazing. The season finale, excellent. I have already seen it. I'm glad I watched it again. I want y'all to go check it out on Peacock if you got it, or pirate it, whatever. You know, go find it. Um, I watched. I went out and oh, let me before I get to the because this is a big one. So I'll say I wasted more money on video games because there was a couple sales on Steam. So I got yet another fighting game I won't play, but it was like $7.50. It was $7.50. I had to,
Fair.
and also Hades was on sale for $7.50. Got that too. I've been meaning to buy Hades for a long time, so got those two. Maybe I'll play them at some point. One thing I did not do this week, I did not watch the Spider-Man Brand New Day final trailer because I'm gonna go watch the movie next week. I don't need to know anything else about the movie. Uh, I I understand you did watch it, um,
I did watch it.
so I hope it
Didn't
made you
really
more excited.
give away too much. It surprisingly didn't give away too much. It actually did a lot of rehashing of the previous movies, and I like that because this is a better way, I think, to hype people up right before the premiere than to actually try and reveal what's gonna happen in
Yeah.
the movie. So I'm happy. I don't know too much about it. I'm ready to be surprised.
Yeah. Well, here's a good thing. I do believe that this movie, well, the movie's going to do numbers. We know that, but it's cutting through a lot of the fog and whatever because people at my job are, and they're totally out of the MCU right now. They didn't even know that when I said, "Oh, there was a Avengers trailer." They're like, "There's still Avengers still going," but they knew about the Spider-Man trailer. So I have a good feeling that it's gonna do pretty big numbers. Just because it's Spider Man, and people have generally speaking, people have a really deep love for the character, and I think the previous outing, I know you didn't care much for it. It did do
Oh yeah.
$1 billion. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna see the initial numbers, but I think it's gonna kill it. So we'll see. We're gonna talk about it next week. um, Hope. Are we gonna get to watch the movie before we do record? It's a question. We might have to do a Friday recording because I want to talk about it. Um, Speaking of a movie I really want to talk about, it's in the zeitgeist right now. It's on the news. A lot of people are having a lot of stupid ass opinions. A lot of people went out and saw it. That, of course, is the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's latest epic. It's damn near 3 hours long. Um, there was pre-controversy that we talked about, the whole Helen of Troy and Elliot, Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy, and Elliot Page supposedly was going to be Achilles. Here's a hint. Well, actually, here's to let you guys know. not playing Achilles. He's not Achilles. He's playing somebody else. So cool your jets on that. Um, so there's controversy surrounding it. Before I talk about the controversy, I'm just going to say I like the movie quite a bit. Christopher Nolan doesn't miss. His worst movie is still a great movie. This is not his worst movie by any means. It's kind of amazing from a technical standpoint what was achieved in that movie. I think it's not perfect. The sound mixing is still a problem for Christopher Nolan. Voice is getting drowned out by the background music and the score and digital, or sound effects. But it's not as often as like in Tenet, so it wasn't that bad. It's also not perfect in the sense that I think it is sometimes bogged down in the fact that it has to say so much shit. This is a 3-hour movie that's trying to tell the Odyssey, which is a really, really long story. So sometimes it's dragged down a little bit by the fact that it has to tell you so much stuff. It's trying to compress and say so much stuff in one space so that they can get on to the pivotal scenes. So sometimes I did feel like it was a lot. It was telling a lot, and there are narrative devices to make the telling make sense within the story, but it's still the writer telling you, hey, this is what's happening, that's what's happening, this is what's happening, rather than showing it. That being said, excellent performances. Not a bad performance in the whole movie. Anne Hathaway and Samantha Morton, excellent. Samantha Morton plays Cersei. Anne Hathaway plays Penelope. They're both great. This movie is woke as shit. The conservatives are right about it, but not because there's a black person and a trans person in the movie. It's for other reasons. It's because of themes and messages, which is exactly why they are gonna fucking miss it, because it's not a picture painted, drawn with crayons to drive the point home. They're gonna miss it because they don't know how to fucking pay attention and understand messaging and subtext or outright text. Matt Damon's really great in it. Pattinson's great. Like everybody's just good. They're doing their thing. Beyond that, it's just a good, fun story. There's a lot of cool things happening. The Cyclops and dealing with the whirlpool and all that, and the way everyone sort of gets whittled down. It's just like it's very interesting up until like the point at the end where Odysseus confronts all the suitors who are up in his house. Also, can I shout out Tom Holland? This guy?
No.
I have to though. He's winning at life in real life. We've seen him on the red carpet with his wife, the great radiant Zendaya, who was also really good. She's in a small but important part. She's very good in it. But he does a lot. He does a lot in the movie, and I think he's trying to show like I do more than Spider-Man, and like he does. He's really good in it. Anyway, all the way around, I think it's a great movie. I think you should go see it. Judge for yourself. It's quite long, but the editing is so good you won't feel the time. So go check it out. Now the controversy is, of course, you saw Elon was like, this is he's trashing the movies. He's saying woke this, woke that, and it's a travesty and blah blah. A guy that I'm sure he really, really fucking understands Greek history and the Hellenistic period and all of the he's a scholar, really. That's why he knows that Nolan's interpretation is bad. Whatever. He's a racist.
I mean, he seems to be an expert on Roman history, if anything.
Well, that definitely given the Roman salute. I mean, that's his. But
that's his thing. That's his Roman Empire.
He said he's going to have Grok make a whole Odyssey that's going to by the end of the year, which I'm sure is doable. They even put out a little clip. It looks like.
I mean, honestly, I hope he does it because it's going to be so spectacularly bad. Then, well, he'll just prove himself wrong. as
Well, he'll.
always.
I mean, but I think this whole thing with the Odyssey. Yes, we're in a cultural war and everything like that, but I think it just underscores to me how conservatives, particularly those rabid kind that are way far right, are fucking sheep. They're the sheep, the most buying of sheep, because all it takes is for one person on their side to, especially like Musk, to say something and they all fucking repeat it. Even though you got a Ben Shapiro was ready to hate on this shit. And he was like, no, this is actually a great movie. Even though, despite the stuff that I don't like, it's still great. Now, Ben Shapiro is an idiot and a failed screenwriter, and he's been jealous of the fact that he couldn't hack it in Hollywood. But he had to say, yeah, this actually is a great. And there's a bunch of people on the right that were saying this is going to be trash that are like, actually, no, it's good. Then you have other people who are doubling and tripling down. Now you have conspiracy theories about, supposedly the studios buying out theaters, and there's all this other shit about like the Rotten Tomatoes scores are fake and everything. Can I tell you something, Polly? When I went to the theater to see this, I went opening night, right? And I went into the theater the second biggest theater at my local movie theater. We have a 16 screen theater, and we have one IMAX screen, and we have one Dolby screen. And that Dolby screen has like, I don't know, 150, something like that seats, maybe more. It's a big theater. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a big, big theater. And the tickets there are $17 minimum. Like just $17, right? So it's one of the highest ticket prices, and it's a huge theater, and it was packed. There was not a fucking open seat in the place, right? And I that's all I'm saying. And I'm sure it's true, it was true on other screenings, and I'm sure the IMAX was too. The idea that this is a failure is bullshit. And the idea that people don't want to see it, also bullshit. The idea that they are buying out theaters, super bullshit. Now I understand I'm saying an anecdote, but what I'm saying is I'm not hearing anything different from other people, and yet there's this conspiracy theory going around. Similar to what we heard for Captain Marvel. Remember when they were like, nobody's really going to see this, they're just buying up tickets. Oh, so Marvel's going to spend $1 billion to make Captain Marvel look good because woke?
Yeah, that seems very reasonable and very in line with the, economy.
These guys they're in shambles. They're dumb. Their leader is like Musk is an idiot. Like he's just a rich idiot. And rather than he's gonna go waste water and electricity to make a shitty AI slop thing rather than paying real people, right? Pay real people. He's a multi-billionaire. He's the richest man on earth. He could peel off $100 million and go have somebody make the Odyssey. He could have whatever conservative filmmaker he wants go cast and make the fucking Odyssey. And he won't. He's gonna waste grok to make a trash ass version of it that nobody is gonna give a shit about. He's literally gonna have to give it away because nobody's gonna fucking go pay to see it. It's for the same thing. He's doing the same shit right now with that Uwe Boll movie. That's basically some Army Hammer's return, where he's going around shooting, I guess, leftists or something. I don't know. It's like white supremacy really fucks your brain up. It really fucks you up. It makes the richest man on earth waste time and energy on shit like that rather than, I don't know, getting us to Mars or something like you said you were. Anyway, go see the Odyssey. It's great. It really is. It's worth your time. So that being said, you know what time it is, guys? It's time for, let me see if I do it right, Polly Has Issues, which is our our weekly segment, or when she reads the comics, but our weekly segment where Polly gets to talk about the comics she's been reading this week. And of course, she reads lots of comics, so she's going to have a lot to say about this one. So Polly, what's the comic this week?
Well, the comic this week, I forgot to go get it. Never mind. I do have it in paper, but I did read it on Marvel Unlimited. It is, and I haven't even finished it, but I went through the first arc. It is A Nation Out Under Our Feet, which is a Black Panther story, and in my opinion, it's one of the best Black Panther stories I've read so far. So it talks about Wakanda, and it talks about the path from for this country from monarchy to uh, constitutional democracy of sorts. Uh, anyway, either way, it's talking about the change in Wakanda, and it does depict revolution. It's best, probably like the best possible way that I've seen in comic books ever, because it doesn't shy away from the bad. It does show you like the dangers of everything. It is just really great, and so far I'm loving it. It does draw inspiration, like in general. It does draw inspiration from previous issues. It does like kind of like what Christopher Priest's Black Panther did. Does borrow from earlier concepts. Doesn't forget to throw away a lot of information. And like Storm and T'Challa, they constantly interact. I love
Hmm.
that very much. I do have a long read about this, which is I told you I'm gonna post it separately on my Patreon, which I'm hopefully gonna launch like this weekend.
Nice.
And yeah, so there's gonna be one more place where people could find me and like read what I write, because like not a lot of people bother to read long reads, and I understand that, but like I love to write them. So uh and yeah, I'm gonna continue, of course, reading this run. I think that's like I'm not sure what comes after, but I know that
Hmm.
this is like one of the most critically acclaimed runs for Black Panther, and it's fairly recent. I love it, recommend it very much. Definitely like excited to read more.
Yeah, this
So
is,
good.
if I'm remembering this correctly, this leads eventually into the Galactic
Galactic
Empire
Empire
of
of Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Yeah, we just started that arc.
Right.
I'm gonna probably start tonight. I don't know if I have any hopes of getting up early tomorrow. I would not do that, but I probably will end up doing it anyway.
I think yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, like he's one of the foundational like creators for the MCU Black Panther, because aspects of his run are within the MCU. Like there's three creators who are foundational to the MCU. Well, that's
Yeah.
it's Priest, Hudlin, and then Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Mm.
So I have not,
Yeah, but
yeah, I have not gotten
it's
to this
go
one.
go.
I haven't gotten to this one
Mm,
yet because
mm.
I don't read comics that much.
Well, considering that he's a journalist and he like an all around very educated person, it I see the influence of like what he knows and what he's been studying and wrote about before. I see the hints of that in his writing for Black Panther, and I think this is good because it elevates the comic book from like even from creative content of like work of art to socially relevant,
Hmm.
important, and like something that you can't ignore.
Right.
Uh, this is not just the situation when I read a book and I love it so much that I'm like, this is why I love comics. This gave me the feeling when you read the book and you're like, holy shit, this can change like minds for people.
Right.
Yeah.
Except a certain demographic doesn't like reading
Oh no. I
stuff about
mean,
stuff starring black people.
it's not. It's I don't think it's not for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It is not for them. It doesn't even talk to them.
mm,
Like it does talk to them if they're willing to listen, but it's not, the point is not that it talks about black people. The point is that it talks about people in general, and it talks about like problems that if you clever enough to project it onto how you live and where you live,
Mm-hmm.
then you're good.
Yeah.
But like most people aren't, so.
Yeah. I need to add this to. I actually have had that the issue. The first issue or whatever, the first trade of that. I've had that for years now. I just have never gotten around to reading it because I'm not reading much comics right now. But it's on my list. It's on my list of things to do. I need to read Black Panther and the Crew also. I don't know what I'm doing. I've had
I have that book
Yeah,
too.
I've had that for a while too. I'm just bad about it. But anyway, it I understand it's critically acclaimed, so you guys should check that out too. Marvel Unlimited, or buy the actual book. Own it, put it on the shelf because why not? So that nerd swag doesn't just include like statues and stuff. You can also books. So, with that said, we are going to jump into our news and our reviews this week. Not a lot of news. We're going to probably do a big news episode next week because San Diego Comic Con does start today. All the big news is going to roll over in this week, this weekend. So we will do a big recap next week. But and for the time being, we do have a few items. For instance, we're going to talk about Kevin Feige talking about the MCU. He was on Josh Horowitz, Happy, Sad, Confused. Well, not happy. Actually, it wasn't the podcast. He was just getting interviewed by Josh Horowitz. So, well, he had a few nuggets in there. We're going to talk about those. Also, briefly talk about the Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger, and where it is. It's not where they want it to be. I'll tell you that much. But I think it may be closer than we think. Also, James Gunn confirms something about CLAYFACE, the movie, that some people have been speculating about as far as its relationship to the DCU. Then we are going to review the big CLAYFACE trailer that was dropped yesterday, the Avengers Doomsday trailer that was dropped the day before that. Then we are going to review My Adventure with Superman Season 3, Episode 6, and X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 6. So a lot of good stuff to talk about. So you ready, Polly? We're going to jump into this.
Absolutely.
Let's get to it. So, Kevin Feige was talking. He's doing a press run right now for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but that just means people are gonna be like, "What's up with the rest of the MCU, yo?" Like, yeah, that's great. We're excited, but seriously, let's talk about other things. So Josh Horowitz of Happy Sad Confused podcast was interviewing him. I think Amy Pascal that was there too, but who cares what she has to say? She doesn't run the MCU. Nobody cares about that. She doesn't even run the Spider-Man stuff. She's still on Spider-Man because she's been attached to it because she used to run the Sony Pictures thing. But whatever, she's still there. But either way, so he asked him about Blade. How does he feel about are we gonna get Blade? What's going on with Blade? And I think Feige has kind of saying the shit's over, but with them and Mahershala Ali, because remember 2019 they were talking about, yeah, we're gonna do Blade, and it's 7 years later and we ain't got shit. And we've been talking about it on and off in the past 7 years about where it is, why it isn't here. But he said that he feels like a loser and a failure for not being able to get it together, which I think is as much as an admission that they are done. They have not put it back on the schedule, and we ain't heard anything about it since then. Is Feige a loser and a failure for fumbling the Blade bag? What do you think?
Yeah, we've been saying that. I mean, he's done a lot of like pretty cool stuff. He clearly has some wins in his bag, but this is a massive fuck up. This is like, there are things you should feel bad about in life, and this is one of them because you had everything. I don't know what went wrong, but the thing is, like, if something went wrong in a project where you had everything to make it great, then yeah, you fucked up. You did not want it enough, and people did.
Yeah, and it is weird to me that they couldn't they couldn't nail the formula. And I don't. Some people are saying, well, Mahershala Ali was rejecting scripts. I mean, maybe, but like, right? He's in a movie that's coming out soon with the guy that was supposed to direct the movie, right? Tariq Basim, and it sounds like he's like an assassin. So they're sort of making a Blade movie without vampires.
Oh, yeah, it's like sinners who took their wardrobe.
Yeah, it's wild that they couldn't fit. Like,
Everything went to good causes. I don't see that.
I guess maybe my issue with it. And look, what the fuck do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet, right? Um, I think it's weird that they couldn't nail Blade down. I think the comics over the past 20-25 years have pretty well defined him and have gotten at least a few good storylines that any of them could have been adapted. Or you could have gone back to like the whole Tomb of Dracula thing. Or you could have gone back to the bit where the Midnight Suns had to team up with Doctor Strange to get rid of the vampire threat. And hell, I even had an idea that would have been fucking dope. I'll repeat it because it's been a while since I talked about it, but my idea for Blade was pretty simple. Blade gets snapped, he gets blipped. He's gone for 5 years, and in 5 years, vampires have kind of, on the low, but they on the low, they've kind of, because they're not alive, right? So they couldn't get snapped, so none of the vampires get blipped, but their greatest enemy, Blade, and some of the Midnight Suns or whatever do get blipped, and in the meantime they proliferate like fucking cockroaches. And now he comes back, and he's got this big terrible problem of a vampire menace that is going to essentially be a huge problem to the universe, and the rest of the heroes don't fucking know it. And now he's got this big problem. It's an Avengers level threat because they're gonna threatening to take over the world. He needs to bring in the Midnight Suns to kind of start fucking with them, or essentially to figure out a way to like reduce their numbers. Hey, the Montesi formula. Hey, Doctor Strange. There you go. I just wrote the whole movie. Fill in the blanks. That's the bones of the movie. It's a big plague of vampires. We need one big ass solution. Doctor Strange can lead us to it and can do the formula. There you go. How hard is this? I can't believe y'all couldn't figure this shit out. That being said,
Didn't want it bad enough.
it must be the truth. I know it's weird. Besides that, he also talked about. He was asked about X-Men casting, and non-committally saying, he was like, has anybody been definitively cast? He's like, not exactly. What the hell does that mean, Feige? You saw what he said? I was just like, so are you saying you haven't cast people? Or are you saying you have and you haven't? The ink's not dry. What is happening here? It sounds like they picked some people and they just haven't like signed the contracts yet. What do you think?
I don't know because, well, first of all, it's a little bit disappointing because a lot of us were expecting them to announce the, at least like some of the casting for the X-Men at CDC, but I guess that they could probably save it for D23. I don't know, but they know that people are very excited about it. They know that people want that badly, and that like every bit of news is it just sends shockwaves, regardless of like how accurate it is, and we know that. But I mean, a little bit disappointing because like, do you want the same thing to happen to X-Men that happened to Blade? Yeah, better like get your shit together and start hiring people, and you know who people want, and you definitely know who people don't want, so just at least consider it.
Yeah, well, at least we know they for sure have a director. They for sure have. I think they have a writers attached. So it's not going anywhere. It's it's I think it's in the same place that Blade was, but maybe a bit further down the road. And they
Yeah, it's
and
still
there's a
not too late to cancel everything.
yeah, there's a lot more incentive to get this to the finish line than Blade, I think. For several reasons, but X-Men is so foundational to Marvel, like there's no way they don't figure it out. Um he also kind of confirmed that the MCU is getting a soft reboot, a very soft reboot, if you can kind of tell from his tone, after Secret Wars, which is something I think we all kind of expected. Like if you're a non, if you're a normie, if you happen to catch this little interview, you're just scrolling through, you'll be like, what the hell you mean? But those of us who know what's up, we knew this was coming because that's exactly what the comics did with with Secret Wars. Is they were like, this is a great opportunity to fold in some shit that works in other universes and to get rid of some crap we didn't care about in this universe. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure,
pretend like Reed
yeah,
was a nice person.
that maybe, see, that's the thing, is the MCU is going to get a good version of Reed, an actually good version of Reed, not a piece of shit. Because as far as I can tell, Reed Richards in his universe didn't do a ton of shady stuff. It didn't seem like it. It seemed like he was mostly just on the
We
level.
don't know.
It's mostly like he was, the dad in Leave It a Beaver, but he could stretch, pretty much. um, I'm not surprised by this. This is just, par for the course. I just wonder, are the normies going to understand? Who knows? It's a hard sell. That's just why I've been saying for years, as much as I like the multiverse stuff, that's a weird second phase to go into. Uh, there was so many other directions they could have gone, but the multiverse thing I don't think was the right move for this. That's too advanced. It's way too advanced for just normal fans. The last thing he said was that they have plans for the MCU all the way up to 2042, which is, look, you don't get to be a studio head without having serious ambition, but like that's 16 years from now. He's like, if we're still, he's like, as for whether we can hold on until 2042, who knows? Will it be those movies that we will be made? Who knows? Well, the real question is, in 16 years, will superheroes still hold sway like they do now? That's I don't know. That's a hard call. I mean, I'm not Nostradamus. I can't call that. I imagine there still will be superhero movies. I don't I don't think we're ever going to go back to the days of, leading up to Endgame. I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't know. Do you think they'll make it to 2042? Oh, well, actually, will the world make it to 2042? But will Marvel Studios still be the thing that it is today?
That is such a question. I know that they're hopeful. I'm happy that they're hopeful. Mm, I'm hopeful. Like I'm excited to that they have these plans. But I think that like the world will end in the next 10 years. So I don't know.
Well, at least as we know it. How about that?
Mm,
I, I
you know,
I don't know about
remember dinosaurs.
I don't know about
Or is
actual.
there a reason why
Yeah,
you don't?
yeah. I feel like 2042 is that's a very optimistic. But like I said, you kind of have to look that way. You assume you're still going to be here and plan accordingly. And there's so much material in Marvel Comics, because the Marvel Comics have, at least from the Silver Age forward, have been going since the 60s. So, and they have no sign of stopping. So they technically have all the material in the world. We'll see. We'll check back 16 years from now on this podcast, and we'll find out if they still are making stuff. Um, so Paramount and Warner Brothers, the match made in hell, the thing that nobody wanted except for Trump and the Ellisons and all the people who carry water for them. It's currently in the regulatory stage, or as I like to call it in this era of, consolidation, especially encouraged by the right wing. This is just a rubber stamping situation. But hold up, there's no other people got something to say, and that's in the lawsuits that are being filed by various parties to make this not happen. The major ones are basically one is a shareholder's like, hey, there's some shenanigans going on. There was some sweetheart deals done by the Ellisons to get Trump to like basically rubber stamp the shit moving forward. And so there's that one. Then there's one by the Writers Guild of America that said this is going to be bad for competition. And there's one by several states here in the United States that are trying to halt it because of, that it'll hurt competition. And one of the bulwarks against it that I thought was going to be the EU, but the EU just said, oh, it's all good. I'm sure no money and no influence, exchange hands to make that just go through easily. Now we got to wait on the UK regulators but I feel certain they're going to be like, this is fine. So it looks like they're full steam ahead, except that these lawsuits are still pending. And so as of now, there's a restraining order for 2 weeks while a judge tries to decide, the merits of the case and if this should move forward. I don't know. Feels like it's going to just go forward. But in the meantime, they had a deadline, I think, for the end of August to have this all completed. And if they don't, they're going to be paying, Paramount will be paying penalties for each month that it is not completed. So they really want it to be fast, but these lawsuits have a potential to slow everything down until they're adjudicated. I don't know. This feels like I feel like they're about to just be done with this. What do you think?
Honestly, don't know. I feel like there's something that could still stop it. Maybe I'm hopeful, but like it sounds like there's gonna be something. I don't know.
Well, nothing
Last
that
minute miracle.
the last minute miracle would be the complete collapse of the economy, because that's the only thing that's going to stop this. These are
Might happen.
These are billionaires doing billionaire shit. They really want CNN for some fucking, well, I know, right? Because they need yet another propaganda outlet that I'm not going to fucking watch, but that some people are going to watch religiously. Because watch, here in America, conservatives are like, CNN is like left wing propaganda. CNN is the media bias. It's the deep state. As soon as Paramount takes it over, I'll give it 10 days before suddenly every conservative that has any opinion about anything is suddenly like, CNN is fair and unbiased and blah blah blah, just because they're conservative, like the people that they bow to said to say it. And I'm going to continue to ignore them because I don't watch fucking CNN now anyway. But this also means for me personally, and I'm going to advocate for this, I'm just not going to go. I hate to say it, I love James Gunn, I love DC and all that. I'm not going to give any fucking money I don't give money to Paramount now. I will not give money to Paramount when they own Warner Brothers. So that's going to be, as soon as that ink is dry, that's the last time I actively put money into the pockets of the Ellisons. Which isn't to say I'm not going to consume the content. I'm just saying I'm not going to pay them for it. And I don't care who the fuck knows that. I think that given the situation, the best thing to do, if you have to consume the content, is to fucking steal it. Right? Take money out of their pockets. If you don't want to steal it, just don't consume it at all. But like, they are actively doing terrible things, and there's no reason to be a part of that. So that's what I plan to do. Now, if y'all don't have to follow me, you can go to the theater if you want to. I'm not. I'm just not gonna do it. Anyway, this is the worst. Why do we live in this timeline? Why can't we need an incursion to just like that's the miracle you're talking about. We need an incursion to deal with this.
Well, it's definitely we definitely don't need a guy in a shirt.
Yeah,
We'll talk about that later.
these guys are so bad. They make Reed Richards seem like a reasonable
No,
alternative.
I mean he does fit in well with the crowd. I mean, he's
Where's Lex
it's very
Luthor?
real
Yeah,
behavior.
where's Lex Luthor when you need him? That's all I'm saying.
Busy. Well,
moving on to let's this is just a quick thing. I saw this before the trailer dropped, but James Gunn got on was on Threads and was like, "Hey, yeah, this Clayface is part of the DCU," which has been a question for a while because we saw Clayface all the way back in Creature Commandos season 1. Was a villain, had in fact murdered someone and taken their place, and was kind of integral to the plot and beat the shit out of he beat damn near killed freaking Rick Flag Sr., which, having seen Peacemaker season 2, I don't feel too bad about now. Like in the show, they were like, "This is terrible," but now that I'm like, "Nah, Rick Flag Sr. sucks." So I'm not terribly bothered by the fact that he got his shit rocked by Clayface. Also, Clayface not dead at the end of all that. But the question had been, once they confirmed that Clayface was going to be a movie, they were like, is this a Robert Pattinson Batman situation where this is just a thing you're doing? Is this a Joker situation where it's just a story you're telling that has nothing to do with the DCU? Or is this canon and this is the same character and we're just seeing like something that, how they came to be? And that appears to be the case. This is DCU canon. That Gotham City that we see in the trailer is the Gotham City that's going to be in the DCU. Which is very interesting to me because they'd never planned to make this. Creature Commandos was the plan, right? That was James Gunn's plan. Clayface was not. Clayface was brought to him by Mike Flanagan. That he developed the story and wrote the script and everything, and they loved it and they're going to make it. But it was never a plan to be part of it. So this is interesting to see what's essentially, kind of an off the cuff remaking of the canon. And I'm curious to see if it's going to fit how well it fits. Were you surprised by this? Like, because I honestly really was. I didn't think they would confirm this.
I wasn't really paying attention to this, but like I can't say that I was surprised. I didn't even think about this, to be honest. Wasn't one of the things on my mind.
Yeah, it's just been sort of like percolating around like geek circles sort of talk because they're trying to figure out how does this work, because the DCU is animation and movies and TV shows and maybe even video games that are all telling the same story, so it's all canon. So trying to figure but then Pattinson's Batman still exists and it's not in the DCU. So trying to figure out how this all works together is a bit of a it's a bit of work. So
I mean, you know what? I lived through Fox X-Men, so I don't ask questions.
Oh my god. That's very true. That's very true. It just seems like they're running a tighter ship at DC Studios. So you're just like, what is this?
But it does seem like Marvel Studios is trying to do the same thing and like to at least borrow what's been working for DC so far.
Right. Yeah.
It does seem like they're going in the same direction, and I love that. I love that they are not like at odds and not trying to drown each other, but they actually borrow good ideas, because we know that James Gunn based a lot of what he's doing in the DCU right now on what worked and didn't work for MCU. Right. And that they the fact that they're borrowing like from him now it's very impressive. It's very mature too, and I really love that because like everything good, we're gonna get more of the good thing. I can't complain.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just cool that they can be like they can pivot a little bit. So they have a bit of freedom to pivot. So very cool. And that actually leads us into what we're going to talk about next, which is they dropped a CLAYFACE trailer just right before San Diego Comic Con. Was not expecting this, but it actually makes a lot of sense because this comes out in October, so we're a few months out from it. So that it does make sense to me that they, because that's usually when marketing does start for a movie, especially a movie that people aren't as dialed into or plugged into. So it makes sense to me that they would start early. And San Diego Comic Con is a good time to sort of, start your marketing for this movie. We had seen a teaser a couple months ago, and hey, it looked interesting, but didn't really tell us much. But we saw some stuff, and it looked cool. And so we got this trailer. I feel like most people were into it. I really love this trailer. Actually, I think this trailer is great. Um, it's pretty much what I want or expected. From this, which is for Gunn said we're not going to do just capes and that sort of thing. We're going to do other things that make sense within the DC universe, taking advantage of DC's long history of crossing genres and doing all sorts of extra things. Creature Commandos is sort of like that, except it's more like monster, monsters in a superheroic situation, or they're they're literally just Suicide Squad but monsters. But this is a straight up horror movie, a body horror picture, and an origin story for a villain that's very notorious within the Batman, mythos. Um, and like Joker, it focuses on on the character and how they got to where they are. But it's not shying away from the super aspects of it. Um, this movie's directed by James Watkins, who is a horror director, and so his sensibilities when telling the story, and also Mike Flanagan is pretty well known for horror stories also. So the way they lean into this um, it looks interesting. I got some more. I got more. I have to say about this. I loved it. But what did you think about it?
It was very creepy. I only watched it like the trailer today, and you saw me watch it. It was like the biggest disappointment for me is that I'm not going to be able to watch this with my best friend because she doesn't like this kind of thing, and I'm not even sure that I'm going to like it because it looks very creepy. It's going to probably haunt me for some time. It does look interesting though. I like that the story, like it has the potential to be either very good or very bad, and I can't tell right away which one it's gonna be because it does have some vibes of like things like Morbius and
Oh, thank you for saying
and and
that.
and the Joker, like the remember that one, the bad one. Uh, but at the same time, it could be really good. And I don't know which one it's gonna be. I have no idea. But honestly, right now, the vibe I got was this like Morbius vibe, and I'm not happy about it. It does look a little bit
uh,
uh too much. Maybe it's the wrong genre for the character. Maybe you don't have to take it so seriously. I think that this could be the problem because it does seem we've seen Clayface to be a kind of a comedic character for the most of the time, and I don't know, like maybe it's just wrong. But we'll see. It might end up being good, but
yeah.
I'm gonna bet on Morpheus.
All right. Can I pause real quick? Well, when I did my reaction, Morbius was something I called out. Now, Look, I actually kind of like Morbius. The only the some
Don't say
aspects.
that.
No,
Madam Web didn't get love from you.
no,
What's that
because no,
about?
there were some redeemable aspects
So
of
unfair.
Morbius,
So
but
unfair.
but I did get that. The difference is, I think though, is that this is they tried to make Morbius a hero. Matt Hagen's not a hero. He's this is a villain origin story, and this his turn towards it is going to be, is not going to shy away from that. In the same way, I know you mentioned Joker. I don't know how you felt. I don't think you really liked the Joker movies. I'm not sure if that's. I don't think
I
you.
did not.
Uh,
I only seen the first one and it was like bad.
I liked the first one quite a bit. I like the second one more than most people. In fact, I think the second one's a good movie, but most people don't like it.
Well, you liked Craven.
I thought, look, I thought Craven was good for what it was. Like, I'm not gonna say
And it wasn't really good.
I'm not gonna say it's like a top tier movie, but like it's better than Madam Web by a good amount. Um, but what I'm getting at is
No love for poor Madam
when I
Web.
was doing my reaction, I was like, this does feel a little bit like Morbius because why I don't know why Marvel and DC they love to just inject people with random ass shit that ain't been tested on nothing. They haven't. Where are the clinical trials? What kind of doctors are these? Where's the clinical trials? Are we
I
gonna try
mean, these are the clinical trials.
that?
I
Can
mean,
we try it? Can we try this shit on? Can we try this claymation? Claymation shit on anything else before you get to people. Like they're lab animals for a reason. I mean, PETA hates it, but you gotta try this on other things first. He's like, nah, put that shit right in me. Inject it. What was it saying? Inject it straight in my veins. And I get it. Like you used to be pretty, now they scarred your face up. I want my life back. I get it. All of that I get. That's the thing is the reason why I don't think this is going to be Craven. I think it's going to be way better than not Craven. Morbius is. I think that his motivations lend themselves more towards a villainous turn. It's not just it's vanity, but also like he makes a stupid decision to cross an organized crime figure, and then he pays for it, and now he'll do anything. He's desperate. He'll do anything to become pretty again, and then it becomes, it turns out actually this is bad, and you can't control it, and he's got a lot of internal, like probably emotional struggles, and he becomes homicidal. Okay, I'm say less. I'm kind of there for that. I think the digital effects are good. I don't think this is going to be a super high budget movie. It probably might be a 90 to $100 million movie, depending on how much CG is in it. And they're definitely going to show the shape. That's the thing, is that they had that last little bit where they keep showing throughout how his face is like drooping, or like he's not able to control how his face is moving. And, they have the little eye violence bit with the whole scissors and the eyelids that won't open. um he's changes his face. His face is like all malleable. He's turning into clay. All cool shit. um and but at the end they show the shape. They don't show the complete shape, but they show the shape that if you have watched Batman animated series from back in the day, he's this big hulking clay monster, right? That can then morph into stuff. And we also see this in the Harley Quinn series, the comedic one you mentioned. But in the Batman the animated series, he's not a comedic at all. He is deadly serious.
I
And I,
mean, serious, but not that. Like, still there are moments. I don't remember actually whether there are moments that are funny, with him. But like, he is serious. He's not, and tragic in a way. It's just not that, not that heavy and not that creepy.
yeah,
Maybe
they're definitely gonna
it's a
make
very
this.
different style in terms of that is noir, and it kind of fits there, with with that style, but like we don't know
Mhm.
anything about this particular style. But we'll see.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing.
It feels like it's gonna be more like The Fly, or The Fly,
Yeah.
Mike. So you're gonna get more of that style body horror, which, if I don't know if you remember The Fly very well, it's very
Not
oozy.
really.
It's very oozy and like, and not the gun oozy, but oozing, like it's flesh melting, oozing, sticky, viscous, stretchy. It's like that, especially in the fly where he does the final transformation. It's like it's really gooey and like gross. So I feel like we're gonna get that here. There's even a part in the trailer where I'm assuming he's confronting some thug or whatever, and you see his clay sort of pooling up around their feet, and you get the impression like he's gonna envelop them or something. Like there's so many aspects of this that are really cool. I have a lot of faith in Mike Flanagan. I have a lot of faith in James Watkins, and I have to be honest. If Safran and Gunn said this screenplay was on point, I gotta take their word for it. Like I have to,
Well,
because I think they have good sensibilities. Either way, I'm
we'll see.
excited. We got a few months until this is out. I can't wait to see more. So we'll talk about it all when we get more. We had another trailer. I don't know if you guys noticed this little trailer that Marvel wanted to drop. It was nothing, very inconsequential. No one's talking about it
I don't think
really.
I've seen it.
We may have, watched it once or twice or a million fucking times, just like everybody on the internet, because the Doomsday trailer came out. God, look, we
The what?
look, we pray for days like this. We pray for days like this.
Yeah.
That
We
little
live for this.
teaser they did, months and months ago. We were like, why are y'all teasing so early? I see why. This doesn't come out literally for 5 months. This is 5 months away, but they got to start the press run right now. They got to. And I mentioned it earlier. People don't even know that. They're like, there's another Avengers coming out. I thought the MCU was over, right? So they've got to get into everybody's minds. This is some shit that's happening. Also, you motherfuckers got 5 months to get caught up on everything you need to get caught up on. Which I will note, this movie, of all the movies that have been coming out in the MCU in the last 7 years, this seems to be the one that's making everyone ask, what do I need to watch? I have been out of this. What do I need to watch? I want to be ready for this. Um, and we can discuss that in a second. Let's just get a real quick, kind of give our impressions of the of the trailer. How did you feel about this trailer?
Wow. How do I even start to put it? It looks very, very cool. It looks very awesome. It kind of like I've heard a lot of people say that it felt a little disjointed, like it felt like they couldn't see the story there. But
It's
the
the
thing
first
is,
trailer,
like
people. What's wrong with y'all?
if no, 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 even if, not even that, but like I can, as a person who read Secret Wars twice, and one time was recently uh it does make sense. It does kind of align with Mary with many story points from the comics. So I think they're gonna stray. Of course, they're gonna stray away from the original concept, but I think that some of the core details are gonna remain the same, and I see those details there in this trailer. It does, like, to us it kind of does feel familiar in many ways, but it's also really cool to see not just all the characters together, but all of these mm, some of these characters in general. I know that like we don't particularly um Well, we do love Fox X-Men for what they were, but we know that that franchise made a lot of mistakes, and we're not trying to pretend that it didn't. But it's nostalgia, and it works because, like in this particular case, we were very excited to see all these characters. Definitely for the last time.
Right.
Definitely this time. We were excited to see who looks like what, like what looks they all have, what is going on, what how are we gonna approach this story, because like again, everyone who reads comics, we know that it's a very complex story to tell, and it's gonna be hard, and it's good it's gonna take a lot of work to translate it to the screen in a way that a lot of casual moviegoers would understand and relate to.
Mhm.
Uh, because it has to be a movie not just for us, but like for everyone. And we get to see how they're doing this now, and it was very excited for that reason alone. I don't know. I was of course happy to confirm some of the characters, that some of the characters still exist, even because like we haven't seen Shang-Chi, and it was so great to see him, that he's like doing some badass shit, whooping Gambit's ass. Don't like this Gambit, by the way. Uh, like no more, again, his new look. I mean, I know that some people don't particularly like it or like
I
his
love
old
it.
look better, which is like I can agree. I do love this for it being like more comic accurate, and like I mean he has to change sometimes. Very excited. Like there are already like theories everywhere regarding what's gonna happen. We get to see Loki again, uh, and we get to see Steve, and like now everybody thinks that it's Hydra Steve or like Evil Steve or another Steve. Uh, I It's just so fun. And like, the only problem is that some people are gonna get too carried away with their theories, and then they're gonna build a whole script in their
Yes.
mind, and then
Yes.
they're gonna be disappointed.
Yep.
And I encourage people to not do that. I actually discourage them from
Yes.
doing that. Uh, just enjoy it, and wait for it. Be excited, and then be excited when it comes out, because like you want to be surprised. There's nothing like coming to the theater and being surprised. It's very fun.
Yeah. Well, definitely people are like, and I see all the speculation. I'm not participating in that. I played that game too many times in the past and have been disappointed that the movie that I wrote in my head didn't was on the screen. So instead, I'm just happy that we're getting what we're getting. Um, they whoever cut the trailer, bravo. Yeah, good for you. You did your thing. I'm certain that this movie's not done editing. I can pretty much say they're not gonna be done with editing this movie and finishing VFX and everything. I bet you they won't be done until like a week or two before this comes out. I can almost guarantee it. That being said, the shots they had were dope. Doom is I think this trailer is so good at what it's doing that people are really like, who the fuck? When the fuck did Doctor Doom get on that level? Because he straight up blocked Stormbringer with two fingers. He did that anime thing where he's just like, I'm not even gonna dodge or anything. I'm just like this because people they don't fucking know Doom's game. They don't understand. They all just they see a dude in armor and they think he's gonna shoot laser bolts. Y'all don't know. You're not aware of his game. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn today. Um, Seeing so many characters in one shot, it feels like, and it's appropriate because the Russos are back, of course, but it feels like when we saw in Infinity War and in Endgame, when we saw all these people in one shot. But this is a callback to me and reminding me of when I first saw the cover of Infinity Gauntlet or Infinity War number 2, which is way back in the '90s. That Jim Starlin cover with everybody on the fucking cover. It's reminding me of that. Um, Probably there are some people who were digitally removed from the scenes to keep it a surprise. That's fine.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with that. Um, just seeing all of them, like, shaking hands, and we saw some action bits where, and Marvel, I see what you're doing. You're not slick. You got Sue Storm, and then right after that, you got Namor flying around. We know what you're doing.
They're not
We
gonna do
know
that.
what. No, we know what y'all are doing. Of
They're
course.
just messing with
Look.
us.
Of course. Namor upgraded his drip. Look who's on the screen. Look who's there right there. He can't steal your girl if he's wearing old gear. He's got to upgrade his game. He's got to step his game up.
He hasn't seen his old gear.
He's just like,
But people might talk. Like, she's probably gonna be all friendly with Shuri, and Shuri's gonna tell him, like, I saw him wear that before.
Yeah.
Don't get fooled. He's not trying. That man is not worth the effort. But then she's gonna meet Reed, and she's gonna be like, you know what?
I love that. I love that Namor popped his collar, and he's yeah, okay. I'm just saying, Reed, you better watch. Namor will steal your girl if you keep playing around.
I hope he steals that girl.
It all looks very cool, and of course we get to see the X-Men and their their real outfits. We get to see Mystique. A lot of people are talking shit about Mystique because I guess they can't goon to her like they used to. My favorite, Yelena, is in there. They didn't have Miss Marvel, and that's fine. It's okay. But
and Monica.
Yeah, they didn't have Monica. We don't know where she is, but we did get to see some X-Men characters. As you said, we saw Shang-Chi. They made sure to let us know Simu Liu is in this and is prominent, and he's fighting with Gambit, which shouldn't even be a real fight, but whatever. Let's give Gambit his moment.
Gambit never falls. Yeah, Doctor.
He's gonna get folded by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's there's a lot of that's look, it's a great trailer. A lot of that is gonna be, I think, I don't want to say fan service, but it definitely is gonna be fan moments. I mean, it's an Avengers film. It should be mostly fan moments, I think. I just hope the underlying story is just like rises to the occasion. But people are really freaking excited about this. This is the second biggest trailer behind, I believe, the Brand New Day trailer debut. So, lots of people are watching it. There's a lot of reactions. People are excited for this. I think the normies are not quite sure what to make of it just yet, except that it looks like it's going to be big. And they want to know, what the fuck do I need to watch? I've been out of it. And what do I need to watch? Hey, we're here, right? That's what. Look, our moment has come. Our moment has arrived. Over the next 5 months, we can continue to tell people what they need to get to, so that
whether they like it or not.
Yeah. And I did a post asking people about this. Not that I couldn't have done it myself. I absolutely can tell my daughter what she needs to watch. And by the way, she's not completely out of it. She's watched. She doesn't like every aspect of the Marvel universe. She doesn't feel compelled to watch everything. And that, we got to remember, there are fans who are into it, but they're not deep into it. So they don't want to go and watch every fucking show and every movie. They want to know, what do they need to get to understand what's going on. I could have answered the question. I genuinely just wanted to know from the community what y'all thought might be essential viewing. And I think I've gotten some pretty good suggestions. But, you guys, get out there and help people get up to speed. Because it's a good journey for everyone. And we can revisit things. And we can remind each other why we love this stuff. Because for a moment there, the MCU ruled the fucking world. And I think they're trying to get their mojo back, and I don't think they'll ever get it back exactly. But we can get back to that time where everyone was kind of on the same page that this is dope, and exciting, and we all want to know what's going on. We want to encourage people to go back and get caught up because Secret Wars is next year, and it's going to be just as big. So anyway, great trailer, and we can't wait to see more. I'm sure we're going to get 2 or 3 more after this. So now it's time for our reviews. My Adventure with Superman continues on. We got episode 6 this week, and it's all about showing love, giving rewards to our favorite Kryptonians. But unfortunately, one of them, he's having a little difficulty because in saving the world, saving the day last episode, he burned out his powers, and now Clark Kent is just a regular old guy. That Kryptonian DNA is doing nothing for him, and he's not quite sure what to do with himself. In the meantime, Jimmy and Lois are going to an award ceremony because they were nominated for, I guess, their journalism. And Kara is going there also because, Superman and Supergirl are being awarded for their heroism. And so a lot of the episode is there's existential crises going on. Clark is he's going through it. He doesn't know how to be the man without the super. And he don't want to talk about it, and Lois is trying to figure out how to be there for him. But also Vicky Vale is there trying to basically be like, yes, drop those losers and come work for me. And so now there's a rivalry there. And Jimmy is a fool because he brings a date. He's still doing that thing with the dating service. What was it called? Worms. And he brings a date who's the princess of what was it? Markovia, which is of course a fictional Eastern European. Is it Eastern
Isn't
European?
Everything?
But she somehow she's French though. I don't what the doesn't make any sense.
It's what there's like in many comics, like in all of the mainstream comics, there are Eastern European countries. I mean, if you look at the map from Marvel and the actual map, you'd be surprised at how many countries fit into this tiny piece of land. And
like
I
Germany.
guess the same thing is going over. Yeah.
Like
in DC, obviously there's Markovia, and there was where others, the one from Superman.
Yeah.
And the middle, very vaguely Middle Eastern country for some reason also there. It just there is a lot going on in here.
Yeah, it was interesting, but So but in the midst of all that, armed militia, whatever you want, mercenaries break in, and a supervillain reveals themselves. It's like people suck and they've been messing everything up. I'm gonna turn you all into animals because, of course, they would. I mean, and also we're gonna poison the Metropolis's water supply, so everybody turns into animals also. Because, of course, that's the fucking plan. You got the technology. Let's do silly things. Why not? This is an anime of sorts. That's, and of course, the day gets saved, but Clark's kind of feeling it. He's like, I ain't had nothing to do with this. I didn't save nothing. Really selling himself short. Kara does her thing because she's super. But really, the power that saved this was the power of Jimmy Olsen's Riz, because that his Riz, as what did Lois was like, use your boyish charms to save the day. I'm gonna say I really love this episode. Not just because it's very funny in many ways, but also there's a few heartfelt exchanges that really made the kind of the episode for me. And seeing Clark struggle in a way that we don't often see him struggle. How does he? As I said, he's super. What is it? But can he be the man? Can he just be the man without the super? And I think he's still trying to figure his way out of this. and just seeing how Lois was trying to support him, but she had her own things going on, and getting to be, you know, be heroic also in her way. And watching the whole Cara Jimmy love situation sort of evolve was a fun time for me. And also Jimmy as a love turtle is hilarious. And seeing who everybody turned into. There's a point at which Lois gets exposed to the gas and she turns into a cat. And what did I message you? I was like, did she just turn into Luna? I was waiting to see the little crescent moon thing over her head, like from, if you're a Sailor Moon fan. This is, I think, an episode that exercised several anime tropes, but not in a way that annoyed me, but actually kind of made me chuckle or smile because they use them well. The whole Lois Vicky, that's an anime trope. The two alpha girls who were going at it. The only thing they didn't have was the little angry marks over their heads when they were talking to each other. I thought it was a very fun episode. I really enjoyed it. What say you about this episode?
It was I can't say that it wasn't boring. It was fun. It just was a little like too ridiculous for me to properly enjoy, especially like after I put all this thinking into the X-Men 97 again. Outshined by X-Men 97. They brought it on themselves. I'm not sure that they like again. They shouldn't have released at the same time. A really stupid decision. Really naive. But yeah, it was a good episode in many ways. I kind of like got distracted through a few times through while watching it because I was watching it like and working at the same time. And
Yeah.
didn't give it my full focus, but I think my favorite part was the fact that like we got to see Superman and how he's taken all this not being able to be Superman thing because I mean, obviously for him it was complicated and it's like he's not complete without his other part. And yeah, it does give the opportunity for other characters to shine, and that's fair. But like, kind of feel bad for him that he can't enjoy life. And you know what? Once again, may I ask, people of Metropolis,
Are you stupid or what?
dumb or stupid? Like, it never gets old. Why? Why are they so? I just don't know. It's just so ridiculous. It is obviously Clark Kent, okay?
Yeah,
Very
well,
obvious.
yeah, I mean, it is, I think. I liked that Clark is he's so focused on his powers, but he does several heroic things through the episode, but he doesn't see it that way because he doesn't have his cape and he can't fly. He's not bulletproof. But that there's a moment where because the little kids that are that run around, the Daily Planet, they're like newspaper kids, but they're also sort of part of the team. They're acting a straight up fool. There's just badass kids running around the little banquet, and Clark's just like I don't want to say baby. He's got real dad energy with them, and they're climbing all over him. It's very cute. Um, but at one point they
Well,
get away from him.
he knows that he's gonna be a parent eventually,
Yeah,
so yeah,
he's
getting
got,
ready for that.
but he's kind of like, well, I can't be useful and otherwise, and he's really down on himself. But in being down on himself, he's looking after the kids. Um, and they get away from him. He goes after them, and then they're threatened by a goon with a gun. And they don't show it because it's cut to commercial, but he gets shot in the arm, but knocks the guy out. He literally gets in the way of this guy aiming a gun. He's not bulletproof, but he still does what he has to keep the kids safe. He's heroic, and he won't allow himself to recognize it because all he thinks about is I ain't got my powers. Well, you literally did the exact same thing you would have done if you had powers. So the super is the man. Like he doesn't see it yet.
Yeah, but in this case, it's kind of stupid.
It's stupid, and yet that's the sort of person that Clark
True.
Kent is. That's the thing I've loved about this show is that it's showcasing that Clark Kent is Superman in the sense that he will do the same thing even if he didn't have the power to do it. Right? He will stand in the way of danger. He will protect the innocent. All that stuff. Powers or not. And so like we need to see that Superman isn't doing it just because he's got powers. He'll be doing it anyway. Um, but he's still having kind of this existential crisis, and we even see it at the end of the episode where he's just like, "You guys did everything. I didn't do anything." And I'm like, "No, all of y'all did some shit, but you were doing it too. You were leading the kids away. You were doing like give yourself some credit, man. You aren't just your Kryptonian powers." And I'm loving that this is probably going to be a multiple episode character journey, just the same way we saw, the same way we kind of saw Lois grapple with whether or not she wants to be a mom, whether or not the future, her grappling with the dealing with the future and what it means and what Superboy means. And it's good to see that that's what's going to be happening. Also, the whole bit with Kara, and she actually hears him say to the villain, who turns out to be his date, because of course it is. Jimmy's dating super villains. He's got, as he said, I have a type, and we kind of get them to finally have it out that why are you playing games? You're playing games, and he's like, but I don't want you to, I thought we were in the friend zone, and but I actually really love you, and we didn't get it resolved, which I love that hearing him confess didn't actually make them get together, right? Because she's hurt by the fact that him dodging and everything like that, and trying to friend zone her and all that shit, she's been hurt by it, and she's not immediately going to fall into his arms. I love that again, that story has to play itself out. It's not going to be immediately resolved just because she overhears him confessing. And in fact, she's bothered by the fact that he confesses that he loves her to the villain, who was his date. It's a good little bit of writing, and I'm glad they're carrying that forward. And then at the end, they get whisked away by something. So the adventure is not over with. We're gonna see more Superman and Supergirl and all that other stuff going on. I suspect that whatever it is that they're going through is gonna get his powers back.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot to add that, like, the whole Bizarro appearance. It's kind of like was foreshadowed before that, because when he was wearing that like Halloween costume and
Yeah,
stuff, and I like that. So far I really like his character.
I love his
It's a very
character.
interesting take. Yeah,
That he's not yeah, his speech is weird and whatever, but like he's actually
he's
he's a good
trying to
guy.
do good.
Which is
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate when they have to heel turn him. I'm gonna fucking
Oh,
hate that.
true, true, true. I think that is gonna happen because like he's gonna be misunderstood, and that's gonna be
Yeah,
very, very
he's
disappointing.
gonna be he's Frankenstein monster basically, but he got a job at an ice cream parlor, and I don't know how they keep him on because he's giving away ice cream. But his communication skills not amazing, but he's a good, gentle soul, and he was saved by Clark. He thinks of Clark as his friend, and he wants to emulate him, and so he puts on the costume and he stops the bad guys and everything like that, and it's really nice, except that I'm not looking forward to whatever makes him turn into Bizarro properly, because I really love the
It's kind
character.
of like reminds you of the of Lonnie in Spider-Man, like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Again, also gonna be very disappointing when he turns into a villain.
Yeah, where he properly turns into a villain, and God, I hate that because they're doing such a good job. I'm like in so little time and little words or whatever, really endearing that character to me, and like I don't want to see him become a bad guy. but it's gonna happen. All around, I really enjoyed this episode, probably a bit more than you did. But these last few episodes of My Adventure with Superman have been on point. Like I'm turned around on this season. I'm very optimistic about it. Looking forward to next week's episode, and we'll talk about that on next week's show. So let's talk about what you really want to talk about.
Always.
Let's review X-Men 97 season 2 episode 6, which is, my caption is Polaris is her. We saw previously when the X Factor, the worst X-Men team, led by dime store Scott Summers, his brother, right? Havoc. What is Havoc's real name? I always forget his real name.
Alex.
Alex, yeah. His name's not even as good as Scott's name. But
couldn't have been like Steve Summers.
No,
or
he's just like not as good.
Tim Summers, or like
anything else.
Well,
not Scott Summers.
Some more.
But we see Polaris. So this all starts with like the what is the name of this? It's not Friends of Humanity, whatever the fuck they're called, but Strikers goons. And they're all. I love that they all have the same costume on, but I forget the name.
Not Friends.
No, they're not Friends of Humanity, but
Purifiers.
The Purifiers. There you go. And they're like, "Ooh, we got weapons. Let's go." And Polaris confronts them, which is, appropriate. She's the heavy hitter on X Factor. Floats in like her daddy. If you didn't know, Magneto's her dad. Floats in like her daddy. Proceeds to like wreck shop, and then maybe goes a bit overboard because these guys suck.
Nah.
I mean, to me, appropriate level of violence, but
not enough.
But to Val Cooper, who is the last motherfucking person who needs to say shit about anything to anybody about how mutants should handle people who are literally getting weapons to fucking kill mutants. But she's just like, oh, you're just like your dad. You know what? Fuck you, Val Cooper. You had your moment in X-Men 97 season 1. She was trash in the 90s comics. Trash in these. Like, I'm glad that they're channeling her character appropriately. She is definitely the person that is going to get other mutants to march, get mutants to be the ones that march the rest of the mutants into concentration camps. She's going to be that person. All that Magneto was right shit, fuck off. Anyway, sorry, I didn't realize I had so many strong opinions about Val Cooper, but Polaris, she's just like, all right, fine, y'all want to play? Y'all want to play with me? Y'all get a whole ship dropped onto your ass, and Havoc has to come in and save their lives. He's one of the good ones, y'all. One of the good ones. Polaris gets fired, and so she goes back to the X Mansion to kind of, I guess, reconnect with everybody since everyone's back, and then walks right into a reunion that turned into a life or death situation because the Danger Room was just, the Danger Room's got tired of Charles reliving his trauma, and takes to heart that, hey, maybe Apocalypse is the way to go. Maybe I should be acting like him. Let's get you guys up to speed on the threats by damn near killing you, and becomes a sentient killer robot. We've never seen those before, and becomes a real problem for them. And so they have a whole thing. This episode, I think, really just is kind of like focusing on Polaris at a very timely focus episode on her, because her father just died, and he didn't raise her or anything. She doesn't really know him except by reputation. But a lot of the time they're trying to be like, Val Cooper's like, everyone thinks you're the second coming of Magneto, and other people, and Charles is kind of trying to be like, well, I love Magneto and everything, and I'm trying to, carry on his legacy. So she's stuck in this place of, is this going to define me? Should I want it to define me? Can I, I don't want to necessarily be his legacy. I don't even know the guy. Can I forge my own destiny that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be him? And of course, there's a lot of ass kicking. So I don't know if I really summed up the episode super well. Just that I know that Polaris is her, and she does some really dope shit in this episode, and I really like this episode. I think it did a great job, kind of grappling with a bunch of things, but also reinforcing that for all his pretty words, Charles Xavier just God damn it, he makes everybody, he just keeps making problems.
Here's the problem.
He cannot help but be the source of fucking problems. Like, literally, the Danger Room becomes sentient and does its thing because he can't just, like, process his grief, I don't know, by talking to somebody else. You can't, you gotta literally relive Apocalypse wrecking your shit and killing your your lover. That it? You gotta relive. He can't, he's got a trauma dump onto a sentient machine that doesn't know how to take instructions correctly because he's a shitty programmer. I don't know. Anyway, how do you feel about this episode?
Well, let's start with the obvious. Like, Charlie, God, what a mess. First of all, that's not how you do therapy, and I'm not a licensed therapist, but I can tell you that that's not how you do therapy. And he's just, yeah, it's not only stupid and dangerous, messing with the technology that you don't completely understand, and I know that he doesn't completely understand it, and then obviously creating problems, not noticing when it does start to get out of control, and continuing with your bullshit. I mean, everybody noticed except for him. And well, it doesn't stop there. He makes it worse. He goes to Genosha, takes, like, of course he needs not like one, at least he's not taking Storm to drive him around this time. Like in the X-Men Evolution, he always took Storm, then she had to drive him around. Like the most powerful mutant, an Omega level mutant, has to be the driver for Lazy Charlie. But here he needs 3 drivers, so he takes Jean, Scott, and Beast, and goes to Genosha because, like, they didn't, like, they need to do this for some reason.
Can I interrupt real quick?
But yeah.
No, I love that the new X-Men drip was on display. Like they had the dope. I fucking love that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say
not my favorite costumes, but yeah, I loved too that they were changing their look. It's very cool. But the only good thing Charlie did in this episode is actually reestablishing the school and appointing Storm as the headmistress of the elements. It was a good idea. I mean,
yes.
Storm definitely, yes, is a good headmistress. That no question about it. We've seen some students, ironically, like when this whole mess with Danger started in the first place, the students were in there with Bishop and Lorna, and yeah, Bishop and Lorna, of course, immediately jumped into action, but the students were just standing around. We'll get to that in a moment. The students were just standing around.
Yeah.
Like, you came to this school to learn to use your powers. And by the way, when Charlie was talking about like how they're gonna learn everything in here, wasn't he a little bit creepy? Didn't he sound a little like someone we know? Yeah. But yeah,
can I
Bishop
defend,
yeah.
Can I defend the Gen X kids real quick? I don't get the impression that I think they're more used to hiding their powers and not using them like offensively. Like they hadn't gotten any training. They hadn't gotten any training.
Used to hiding his powers.
Well,
I would not believe that.
You get what I'm saying. Like,
I understand.
Some of them, like their powers are not. It's not immediately clear what the fuck to do with them. Like I don't think.
I
I don't
think
think I don't think
he could.
I don't think I think Chamber I don't think that Chamber is super understanding of what to do with this shit, even though his powers
That's true.
are very
Oh, Globe.
powerful. Or yeah, like a lot of them, I don't think they're necessarily, but they're kids and they haven't been trained and they're used to just like not using their powers. So I don't think
Yeah,
you know
that's true. It's just that in every other version of X-Men, like kids were excited to try this. They were like, but maybe I'm thinking about the X-Men Evolution. I'm just too excited because I hope that we're gonna get a spin-off or something,
right,
or like more focus on the kids on this school thing. But let's get back to the episode
right.
because, like I said, this team up between Bishop and Lorna. Anybody else notice something else? Because to me, very very vibing, and I'm used to Bishop like. mm, you know, drooling over Storm, as everyone should
I mean,
be.
fair.
Yeah, but I like this. I like what's going on. Also, it's gonna make Alex probably feel very shitty, and he should feel very shitty.
Fuck that guy.
He deserved that. Yeah, terrible, terrible. And like Summer's family has a lot of terrible kids, but this one is kind of like even the third one. The third one sucks, but like this one. Anyway. Yeah, what else? What else happened? Lorna, of course, yeah. Powerhouse, very cool. Inner conflict, all of
Yeah.
that. There's a lot going on. And to me, maybe too much was going on for one episode because like we had to deal with Danger, who is it's a villain of the week. I'm not sure if she's gonna be back or like they're gonna reprogram her and add her to the roster. I don't know.
Please.
But well, they've done that before. Uh, but it was a little bit too much for me, in my opinion, to deal with all the Charlie's trauma and what he's turning into. Let's put it that way. At the same time, follow Lorna and what she is
Mm,
experiencing. Although those stories were really, really connected, and in a good way, we got to see how this one affected the other. So that was pretty cool.
right.
And of course, the most important, probably like the most highly anticipated by people moment is we finally saw Gambit being reanimated and resurrected by Apocalypse, and
Right.
that ain't gonna be nothing good.
No.
But yeah, Rogue's gonna be like, I keep saying that Rogue's gonna see him and be like, I can change him. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Uh, that is gonna be dramatic, and I can't wait for it to unfold. It's so even Watcher was there, you know.
Yeah, they did have the we did
Yeah,
have the Watcher again. I love that that's continues to be thing. I wish the movies would do it too. I mean, like once the multiverse saga is over, they're gonna stop doing it. But I really, really want them to do that because like it's such a good little way to tie things together. Um, I will agree there's a lot happening in this episode, but I think I didn't feel like it was too jumbled up. Danger was they explained Danger pretty well, and but it wasn't a big enough threat. It was more of a threat to the kids than it was to any of the X-Men properly. Even though they did show that like, hey, one on one, that Danger will wreck any one member of the team, and like that Beast is kind of useless. um, we got to see the Scott Jean team up, which I love. Look, I know that they're not a perfect couple,
they're a
but
terrible couple.
when they are in sync, it's fucking
They're
hard to
never in sync.
when they're in sync, they're hard to deal with. And
Hi, Emma.
this is a moment when they are in sync. They are hard to deal with. Um,
Excuse me. Jean is like, we got like pins up our sleeves and shows this team up and gets immediately folded
yeah.
by
Well,
Danger.
I hate that.
Immediately.
I hate that Jean still doesn't live up to her potential. She should have been able to wreck. She should have been able to wreck Danger with
The only thing
little
she should have been
difficulty.
able to do is faint.
This I think she should have been able to wreck Danger on her own, but I don't think she's still kind of quite coming to her own as far as her power. She hasn't quite unlocked her full abilities. Unfortunately, Scott is Scott. He's a great tactician, but he didn't really understand who he's fighting. So okay, fine. That this is a Polaris feature, and you're right. I do like her synergy with Bishop. They should explore that more.
Yeah,
Will
synergy. Mhm.
will they explore
Nice way
that?
to put it.
Yeah, I mean, well, they will they because I think Bishop respects. It's not that he respects strength. He respects resilience. He respects someone who just gets to it, like very. And she they try to.
So he's from the future, so he knows things about her probably that she doesn't.
Yeah, we would hope, because he's from not too far in the future, but far enough, where she's kind of a legend, maybe. But I love that they showcased. Yeah, she's sort of like her dad, but like her her actions weren't crazy. She was just like, "Fine, you guys want to terrorize us. Well, here's real terror." She's not afraid to. She this is what it is. Because this is supposed to be an allegory for the other minority groups. She's not afraid to be who she is. She's not afraid to be a mutant. She's not afraid to show. And if people are scared of that, that's their problem, not hers. Because she's not doing anything wrong. She's literally fighting terrorists. And if her folding up some terrorists makes you afraid, that says more about you than it does because they're terrorists, right? And why would you be bothered by them being folded up and dealt with unless you some way see yourself in them? And if that's true, that's your problem. But it gets her fired. And Val Cooper is the problem. She's not just an assimilationist. She's a keep your head down and be one of the good ones sort of person. And Lorna Dane is not about that life. And I think Jubilee probably woke up the fact that, hey, that's not who you are. That's not who Professor X would have told you to be. And maybe you don't have to listen to Professor X either. I love that this showcased that. The other thing is, like, they're not even pretending like this is not about a gay relationship. Like I think they're done pretending like because look, that's your best friend and everything. Cool. You don't lovingly caress a digital replica of his helmet and sit there and watch him over and over again and have these little conversations with him. Unless y'all look, I'm sorry, they're not fooling nobody anymore. Your lover was killed in front of you. That's an appropriate bit of trying to deal with your trauma. If your lover just got killed, not your rival that you became best friends with, but y'all tried to kill each other literally. I don't believe that. So I'm glad that they're just like they're not even pretending anymore. Like that's not what it's about. I think it's a great episode. I'm really loving what they're doing. But X-Men 97, all they do is quality, so I'm not really exactly surprised. And I'm glad that they introduced the whole Horseman Apocalypse doing this thing. I'm ready to see what they got in store for us. We got 4 episodes to go in the season. So good times, and I think I think they're rolling quite right along. So that being said, you know what that means. That's the end of the show right now. We've covered everything we thought was important this week, but maybe you think we missed something. Maybe you'll agree with us, disagree with us, want to praise us, troll us, whatever the case may be. We want to hear from you. Get down there to the comment section and leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up at supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com. Blurred_force1 on Instagram. Sorry, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. I can't talk right now for some reason. Anyway. And of course, while you're doing that, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. And also, I don't say this enough. If you liked what you heard and you think other people might like it also, share this out. You can get the link on this. Let people know what's up. Repost us when I post the episode. Let people know that this is something that's worth listening to. And we thank you for your support and for getting the word out. We're trying to get this channel up. We're trying to get it up to like something, like 1,000 followers. That would be cool on YouTube. But of course, I couldn't do this by myself. Needed the expertise on X-Men, because I definitely forgot some of these people's names. And all around nerdiness from our good friend Polly. So Polly, where can they reach you on social media?
Well, it's as always on Threads at @co_mixed. It's on Instagram, on Tumblr, and well, soon on Patreon. After this weekend, I promise, I guarantee. It's not gonna be like the Twitch, and I'm looking into something to actually make it to Twitch, but it's not gonna be like Twitch. It's definitely gonna happen.
There you go.
I already have the cover ready, so yeah.
You guys go check that out. Patreon. We'll post a link and everything. We'll let you guys know, especially next week. We'll let you know for sure. Twitch eventually. I'm assuming it's gonna be
One of these days.
I'm assuming it'll be Marvel Rivals, but it could be Spider-Man. I think people would love to see you walk around New York and enjoy the sights, in in New York as Spider-Man. All that being said, this had been episode, if you can believe it, episode 228, or is it two? I'm sorry, 238. Excuse me, of the Supercast.
Oh, we're at 240 almost.
Yeah, we're getting very close. So episode 238 of the Supercast. Thanks for joining us. Come back next week. It is going to be a jam-packed episode because we got to talk about San Diego Comic-Con and of course review the next episodes of My Adventure with Superman and X-Men 97. It'll be a good time and we hope to see you then. So until then, I've been Mo, your comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by our resident Reed Richards truther, of course, our friend Polly. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.